Good morning, class 10. So, we were discussing the chapter energy. In the previous class, I told you about nuclear energy and the two ways of harnessing nuclear energy, that is fusion and fission. Okay. I also told you about biomass energy and the three different kinds of biomass energy. So, we are in the last part of the chapter energy. We are discussing alternate sources of energy, because conventional resources that we have, coal, petrol, diesel, natural gas, these resources that we have, because they are limited, because they cannot be renewed, because they take a very long time, millions of years, and basically because they cause a lot of pollution. Today we are trying to use sustainable energy resources, that is alternate resources of energy that will to some extent help us to prevent pollution of the environment. So, as I was telling you, every energy resource that we discuss, they come with their own pros and cons. There are advantages definitely, but most of the energy resources, they have their own disadvantages also, right? But what we need to remember, in today's environment, the kind of pollution level that we have, the world is trying to harness as much as possible alternate resources so that we can bring down the pollution level, right? So, we have already discussed about biomass energy and nuclear energy, which is the most important and reliable source of energy for the coming future. So, today we will be doing the remaining energy resources along with their advantages and disadvantages. Okay? So, one very important energy resource that the world is trying to harness today is geothermal energy, right? Geo is the earth, thermal is the heat. We are trying to extract the heat from inside the earth, right? You know, there is molten magma inside the earth which is boiling, and we have underground water bodies. Okay, so water bodies which are inside and they are in close contact with the heat of the earth, those water bodies, they start boiling, and those water bodies are called geysers, right? So, these boiling water bodies that we have inside the earth, and that is because of the heat that is there because of the molten magma inside the earth. That water, those geysers, we are trying to extract from inside the earth by putting pipes inside the earth. We are trying to extract that water, that heat from inside, and we are trying to convert it to usable form of energy. Though the percentage that we have harnessed so far is very less, yet we have to remember that this is one reliable source of energy. So, we insert pipes, okay. After a lot of investigation, when we come to know that this particular part of the earth has geysers, it has boiling water, after investigation we try to extract that heat by putting pipes inside the earth, and then that water is converted either to electricity or other usable forms of energy. Okay, very less percentage of this particular energy is being harnessed by the world. It's just around 2% of the total energy that we use, but yet it is a very reliable source, because the molten magma and the geysers, they are never going to disappear from the earth. Okay, so the advantage is that it is renewable, it is very reliable, it does not pollute, it does not produce greenhouse gases unlike the other resources that we have, right? But definitely there are certain disadvantages. I have given you in your notes. Go through the examples that I have given you in your note. What is the advantage of geothermal energy? One is that the investigation, you cannot just dig any part of the earth, right? The investigation to find out where exactly we can harness geothermal energy, that requires a lot of research and investigation, and we lack proper people, trained people to inspect those particular places. That is one. And the second disadvantage of geothermal energy is that to insert the pipes and to dig that and to extract that energy resource, it is very, very expensive. It requires trained people to do this work. So it becomes very, very expensive, and because we are extracting the underground water which has a lot of minerals dissolved in it, and we are putting iron pipes inside, most of the time the pipes get corroded because of the various minerals that are mixed in the water. So in totality it becomes difficult to get this energy resource easily, yet it is one sustainable energy for the coming future, right? So that is one. The next energy resource that is a part of your syllabus is hydroelectricity. I do not have to tell you much about it. All the lights that we are using today, they all come through hydroelectricity. That is, dams are constructed, okay, water is collected in the dam, or most of the time the rivers themselves are dammed. Either you construct an artificial dam, or most of the time the rivers themselves are dammed, right? And then we collect the water at a height, okay, and then the water is released with very high velocity. From a height they fall down with very high velocity, and they fall on the turbines. The turbines move because of the velocity of water, and that friction generates electricity which is tapped through the grid system, right? So advantages, it has all advantages. Water is a renewable resource, as we all know, okay. So it's renewable, it's very eco-friendly, it does not contaminate, there is no kind of pollution, there is no greenhouse gas. These are the advantages of hydroelectricity. The disadvantage is that we destroy the ecosystem, the aquatic ecosystem, when we are damming the rivers, right? And sometimes when we are constructing dams, dam is a huge thing. So when we are constructing dams, we use dynamites to blow up and construct a dam, and that sometimes moves the tectonic plates, and that might result in they may give rise to earthquakes, right? So this is the disadvantage of hydroelectricity. Otherwise it is the most reliable source of energy that the entire world is today dependent on, right? The next alternative resource that we have is wind energy, okay. It definitely, I am telling you the disadvantage first, it cannot be used in all places. You require a huge land, okay, a huge open land is required where we can set up a wind farm, okay, where we have lots of wind turbines. That particular huge empty land is called a wind farm, right? And what is the criteria that we need to use to extract wind energy is we need that particular place has to have very high velocity wind. Only when the velocity of wind in that particular place is very high enough to rotate the turbines, then only we can utilize wind energy, right? And in India, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, these are the places where we are trying to harness wind energy, right? So all advantages, because definitely wind energy, no kind of pollution, you just need the turbines. There is not a single sign of pollution when we are trying to use wind energy. And the disadvantage, as I was telling you, not all places can use wind energy. You require a wind farm, and that particular place has to have very high velocity wind, not possible in all places, right? So this is the disadvantage of wind energy. The next alternate resource that we have is solar energy. We have discussed earlier also, all of you know about solar energy. Solar energy has tremendous power, right? Even if 1% of the energy that is falling on the earth, if that can be tapped, that can serve the purpose of the entire world's energy need. But it is again very difficult to harness solar energy. Now most of the places, even in Kalimpong, we are already using solar energy, right? There are solar panels, there are solar geysers, there are solar heaters, there are solar batteries, there are solar cookers. These equipments are already in use, right? So there is, it's eco-friendly, no pollution, very, very safe kind of energy, which again the whole world is looking up to for the coming future. Disadvantage, as I was telling you, it is very weather dependent. Solar energy cannot be used in the monsoons. When it is rainy season or even on normal days, if it is cloudy, then you cannot use solar energy. And the other disadvantage of this energy is that the equipments that we need to trap this energy resource, the equipments are quite expensive. That is the disadvantage of solar energy, right? On page number 92 class, we have biomass energy. I have already discussed with you. Under biomass, we have biogas, we have energy plantation, we have bagasse energy, right? So I have already discussed in my previous lecture. Biogas is made from the dung of animals, as I told you. We try to get methane gas that is used exactly like LPG, right? Energy plantation, I told you, people are trying to grow trees which are woody, trees which grow in any kind of soil, okay? Those kind of trees we are trying to grow so that the maturity period should be 5 to 8 years, so that people grow the trees in the village areas and then they can cut down the trees and use it as a source of energy, firewood that is. That is why we call it energy plantation. We are planting energy, right? And bagasse, as I told you, sugarcane, after you extract the juice from the sugarcane, the fibrous stalk that is left, that is called bagasse, right? That's it. It serves two purposes. One is it makes paper. You can make paper out of bagasse, and bagasse is also used as a source of energy in the village areas. So that is about biomass energy. It is a renewable, never ending resource, especially trying to serve the village areas, right? And then I have given you a note on alcohol, that is called biofuels, okay? Sometimes in ICSE you get the question biofuels. So biofuels are, there are two, ethanol and methanol. Both are made from crop residue. They are excellent sources of fuel, but the disadvantage is that all engine vehicles, they do not accept ethanol and methanol, right? So this is also an ICSE question. And the last part of your chapter class discusses about CNG as an alternative resource. Please remember, CNG is not a renewable energy resource. It is non-renewable. Wherever you find natural gas, you find compressed natural gas. CNG stands for compressed natural gas. It is non-renewable, but it is considered to be much more safer than petrol and diesel. You all have heard about CNG vehicles. So remember, CNG is non-renewable like petrol and diesel, but it is much better. Why it is better, class, than as compared to petrol and diesel is because compressed natural gas does not release two things. One is lead and the other is sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide, okay? When vehicles are using CNG, it is free from two dangerous contaminants, and those two dangerous contaminants are lead and sulfur dioxide. Lead, why is it considered a contaminant? Lead, if present in the air, what does lead do? It affects your central nervous system, right? And sulfur dioxide, very dangerous contaminant because it leads to acid rain. So when we use petrol and diesel, lead and SO2 are released in the environment. So it is very dangerous. So we are trying to replace petrol with compressed natural gas because it does not contain lead and sulfur dioxide, right? Very, very safe, but it is non-renewable. And you have to remember one major disadvantage of CNG is that it releases greenhouse gases, because it does release carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. Okay. Second disadvantage is it is non-renewable, and the third disadvantage is that sometimes if CNG leaks, it can lead to a huge explosion, right. So these are the disadvantages of CNG, that is on the last page of your chapter, right. So we have come to end of energy chapter. Now in the next lecture I will be discussing a new chapter, chapter 8, that is waste. Thank you.